Last year I started this project for one of Blackthorn Pod's challenge videos, and then they just didn't reply. Well, I'm gonna finish the game anyway. I'm gonna turn this happy, vibrant looking game into a survival horror game. I don't even know why I decided to make a horror game. I actually hate horror games and I hate horror movies. They scare the shit out of me. Anyway, here's what I previously had done. Modeled some hands that are pretty much straight from The Simpsons, rigged and animated those hands to throw a spear, modeled that spear, made a toon shader, coded the first person controller and coded the spear throw with some effects, and made these little guys as temporary enemies. Now, I'm giving myself only 3 days to complete this game, so here was my plan. The player will spawn in a haunted forest and craft spears from sticks and stones he finds. The player will then have to fight off bats and eventually arrive at a huge unkillable boss that would probably eat him. So currently the game is very toon and vibrant, and well, that's not going to work for a horror game, so let's change that. I started by unwrapping the hands and then textured the hands to give them a touch of realism. I also textured the spearhead by simply outlining the edges, and then added a wood texture to the staff. Lastly, I removed the toon shader and darkened the world, and now it's actually starting to feel a bit more like a horror game. Since we have limited time, I decided I want to create the monsters myself, but the environment, I don't mind snagging from the asset store. So I found this asset pack which I think is going to suit the style of the game. So with the Unity terrain tool and the asset pack, I started creating the environment. It really didn't take long at all to create this starting area, and it doesn't look too bad either. I also made the camera shakes a lot smoother by snagging my camera shake script from my other project, Custom Fire, which if you didn't know is a multiplayer PvP gun building game, which you can now wishlist on Steam by the way. Anyway, time to make the first enemy. So to save time, I got this bat from a very old project and he's already rigged and animated, but he's also very goofy looking and not scary at all. So I found some reference images online and then spent a while remodeling his face. He has a more cartoon face than I wanted, but I think he'll still be scary enough. Next I found a really cool pack of alien textures and applied them to the bat in game. This is everything I got done on the first day, and it's nowhere near as much as I thought I'd get done. So the next day I decided to skip the spear crafting part of the game and focus just on the enemies. So I finally started coding the Bat AI script, and I now realize that calling this script artificial intelligence is an insult, but anyway, I used a lazy version of a state manager to code the following attacking and haunting states. The haunting state is what makes the bat actually scary because it will teleport around you and hopefully give you a jump scare. Next I created a death effect, teleporting effects, and then coded the attack, which should be as simple as attaching him to the player. Why is he screwing me? Eventually I got that working with a new animation for the player freaking out. Lastly, to complete this we need sound effects, which I mostly got from FreeSound. I also really like the player scream sound I found because it kind of reminds me of Mr. Tweedy from Chicken Run.
It's all in my head, it's all in my head.
Anyway, here it is all together. Now, I need to decide on a boss for this game. So I asked one of my friends for some ideas and he had a lot of scary, demonic ideas, which is actually kind of troubling. I should probably check on him. Anyway, I settled on creating a possessed snake, which was mainly because I thought it would be faster to code the snake slithering than to animate a creature. After creating a temporary snake model, I started coding the snake body, which was a lot more complicated than I thought, because I had to create an array of marks that the snake head would add to, and then the body had to follow. I ended up finishing really late on the second day because I knew I wouldn't be able to sleep knowing my code was still broken. But yeah, eventually I got it mostly working. The next morning I fixed some bugs with the snake and then it was time to model the actual snake. I initially wanted to make him look really horrific but ended up keeping him relatively simple to save time. Then I created one animation for the attack, got him into the game and applied some alien textures to him. I added a bunch more sound effects, coded the snake AI, and it actually turned out better than I thought. Now, this was actually everything I managed to get done on the third day, but the project is still kind of a mess, so I gave myself one more day to finish things up. I finished creating the environment and created a giant collider so you actually can't escape the forest now. I made direction signs and added a guide arrow so it's impossible to get lost. I added a limit to the spears so now you have to pick them up or wait for them to slowly regenerate. And finally I added a spotlight that I think every horror game has. so I didn't get as much done as I thought, but I'm still happy with how it turned out. If you want to play the game, it's on itch for free. So hit subscribe, wish this my game, and thanks for watching.